I am live. Guess what day it is? It's Healing Tuesday. How excited am I? How excited am I? I want to get some things straight here. Sorry, I didn't think about doing this beforehand because I could not always see who's on from my computer, from StreamYard. Let me see if I can go. As you guys are jumping on, I want you to put in the comment section where you are jumping on from. How about that? What city do you live in? What city do you live in? All right, everything's up, everything's live. I'm so excited. Tonight I thought, hey love, tonight I thought we were going to have Dana on. She is just getting back to normal, but I still said, you know what? I'm not going to worry about it. We're going to move on with our conversation. We're going to go to the next place. And I want to go to this place because I saw some comments and some posts and things like this earlier in the week. And I feel like it's worth the discussion. You know, you guys know I'm always like, what am I supposed to talk about during Healing Tuesday? So let's go here tonight. I am Dr. Tori J. It is Healing Tuesday. Healing Tuesday is where I come on and help fatherless individuals connect the dots to their pain. So often I have learned that there are people who are fatherless, but they don't know it. Or they're fatherless, but they don't know how it's playing out in their lives. And so tonight we are going to dig into daddy issues. It's something that I talk about a lot. It's something I actually have a podcast called I've Got Daddy Issues. I have a whole other segment called or arm of my organization that is called Daddy Issues. I've Got Daddy Issues. And I have a podcast called I've Got Daddy Issues. And I wanted to talk about this because there was a post that I saw earlier this week, and I had it in the original, timer that was scheduling this. So I want to read it to you because I thought, even when I read it, I was like, really? Oh, my husband's on here letting me know. Those of you who are coming on, please share this. Share, come on in and then share some more. We want you guys to share it because we know that there are people who are dealing with daddy issues, but maybe they don't know it. Let me read this and then I'm going to get into this because I don't want to jump too fast. How did daddy issues become an insult to girls when it's men who failed as fathers? Whew, that's rough. How true is that? We're going to dig into this. How did daddy issues become an insult to girls when it's men who failed us as fathers? How many of you believe that that's what daddy issues are? That it's an insult to girls and that it's proof that that men as fathers failed us? Put a 1 in the box if you believe that. Put a 1 in the box for me if you believe that it's an insult towards girls and girls only. When someone says you got daddy issues, that it's an insult, and it's an insult towards girls, and that it's the men who failed us. And that's why we have daddy issues. How many of you think that? I don't want this to come on. That it's proof that our fathers. See, that's what I didn't want to happen. And it happened. So let me go here. I found something that I thought was worth discussing tonight pertaining to this issue. Varg said no. John said it's an accurate stereotype, but not an insult. Okay. So John, you feel like men have failed us, that fathers as men have failed us, and that's why it's called daddy issues. I think there are many arms to it. Varg said, no, I don't think it's an insult to women, and I don't think it's the proof that men have failed or fathers have failed their daughters. He said, I take that back. It's 1. Okay, so Varg, you feel like it is an insult to girls because it's an interesting conversation, and I want to have it. I want to have the conversation. Okay, John says, no, I don't think men have failed their daughters. Because this is where I want to go tonight. Daddy issues and fatherlessness have so many different arms and tentacles. It's like an octopus with different tentacles coming into this equation, and everyone has a different situation. Exactly, Vark. It depends. See, that's where we're at. And that's the truth. Depending on the situation. This is where we have to go. Wait, is that Nydia? She's like, is that a new name? Yeah, that's Nydia with a new name. Hey, Nydia, we see you on here, girl. Happy belated birthday. We missed you. Look, people were like, where's Nydia? You have literally become a part of the live as much as myself and my husband. Like, people expect you on here. So when you ain't on here, you guys, I'll go into Nydia's box and be like, you good? You okay? Nydia's moving. Nydia's got a lot going on right now. You guys, I'm working out like crazy and I'm drinking. You don't even want to know. Yes, there can. Yes, Vark said could be, but there are several versions. Okay, so let's see where John goes. John says, I feel like it's a stereotype because daddy issues means basically they didn't have a dad, or does it? And the cause of a child not having a father can be for many reasons. Absolutely. Yeah, as soon I saw the little picture, Nydia, so I knew it was you. Dorothy, okay. Oh, since I'm in Kansas now and I'm quarantined for 14 days. She's Dorothy, y'all. That's right. Nydia moved to Kansas. She left beautiful Florida and she is in Kansas, but she will be able to come back and visit. I saw the picture, Nydia, or the video of your last day at the beach. That beach is beautiful compared to ours right now. But yes, you are Dorothy in Kansas. Make me know you, Vark. You guys got to know that make me know you is a term from the South that Vark has had to deal with in his journey. Make me know you. Okay, so let's go here. Let's go where John just went. And then I'm going to read and go through some of the stuff that I wrote down. Because this thing is really complicated. It's definitely a stereotype. No question. Even the stuff that I was reading to prepare for tonight and looking at different blogs, as well as I look at Psychology Today a lot. It's a stereotype towards women. And when someone said that, I was like, is it? That's odd to me because I know too much. But the world, you're right, John, it is a stereotype. And I don't know if it means you didn't have a dad, but it definitely means that how you respond to life and relationships shows that you have been stunted in your growth in some way, shape, or form. And it shows, and it gives the idea that women, I don't even know if I should do quotations, women are carrying baggage. Never is said about a man, oh, you got daddy issues, although it should be. And the cause of not having a father, child not having a father, is definitely for many different reasons. That's something I can't even dig into. It's really a meme trying to pit, yes, it's a meme trying to pit man versus woman. It's really trying to put the blame in one solid area 100% of the time. And that's what I can't do. I know people want me to do that. One lady told me this week, she said, you know, sis, you have been in this world too long that you are not really clear on how the world thinks and what they believe. I am clear on what the world thinks and what they believe. And that's why I'm fighting. I'm sorry, I got my new chair and my new desk, y'all. So I'm trying to make sure I'm sitting up straight and sitting upright. You can see me. But I get that the world thinks these things, but I have to educate you on the truth. I have to educate you on what's real. So I totally get what she's saying. However, I'm not going to go with the world if the world is wrong. I want to teach the world what is really happening. I want to teach the world what is truly the issue. So we're going to kill this stereotype tonight. That's what I want to teach you tonight. I want to take the burden and the insult off of individuals. Because when I say I've got daddy issues, I don't think of it as an insult. I don't think of it as a way of somebody slandering me or making me feel insecure or making me feel any kind of way. In some ways, it's a badge of honor. It's a weird place that I own. I own my daddy issues that I've healed from, and I've walked through a journey. That's what I need you to understand. I've walked through a journey of healing my daddy issues, and part of that healing was even reunification. I want to go through some conversation with you that I saw on a blog, but I want to go to some tweets that I received. I realized I received these tweets back in March, but I guess I wasn't aware of them. You know how you Google yourself? You got to Google your company and yourself to know what's out there and what people are saying. And I Googled it, and this doctor who is a professor at King's University, he's a theologian, and he said, when the fatherhood of God is not central, fathers won't be central to solutions. I want you to hear that again. When the fatherhood of God is not central, fathers won't be central to solutions. I wanted to bring that into play because when we are talking about daddy issues, unfortunately, the issue is that society still does not believe that reunification is the way to go. Hold on, I'm frozen. Okay. Society doesn't believe that reunification is the way to go. They still find ways to replace, supplement, and provide other things. And I believe part of the reason is because we are in a patriarchal society, still being moved and turned and controlled in a weird kind of way by our matriarchs. Women are still, although, it's that conversation of, he's the head and she's the neck that turns the head. I believe that society is being so inundated with the conversation of female, 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 that we are missing the fatherhood conversation in a lot of the stuff we do. I think partially it's because we're pissed off at men. And so we don't want to add that conversation because in many ways, we want men to. I've heard this said, and I'm going to say it on here. Sometimes women get upset and say things like, men need to just pack up and get on a boat and sail off somewhere else and just put them on a boat and stick them on an island. That's where women are, because they get upset about the wealth gap. They get upset about being controlled. They get upset about all these things that they feel like men are controlling. But the conversation that needs to be had is, what does leading look like from a male perspective? And I think that looks like God. I believe that God teaches men how to lead. And I know someone got on here and didn't want me to talk about the sky God. That's so ridiculous to me in many ways. But if God isn't central to fatherhood, if we don't see the fatherhood side of God, and we don't see that part of him, and we only see the grace and the mercy and that stuff and the forgiveness, which tends to be feminine, we don't see the guidance and the direction and the wrath, right? We miss the discipline. We miss those moments. And so if God isn't in the center, then fathers can't be in the center. So we need to back into this. Why are we so hell-bent on removing men from society, ladies? Why are we so easy and quick, like the meme that I talked about? Because that's what I'm really focusing on right now. Why are we so quick to blame the men failing us as fathers when maybe they were failed as boys? Have we ever considered that? And not just by their fathers, but also by their mothers. I don't know where this has started for many of you and your families. I can assume that it started with parents who were raised from a dysfunctional place. I can assume that. And fatherless doesn't mean that you didn't have a dad in your home like John was referencing earlier. It doesn't mean that you didn't have a dad present. Doesn't. You could have a dad present, but yet not active. You could have a dad present, but mom lords over and kind of makes the dad. I had someone comment and say that, like, had a dad, but Mama was in control, had a dad, but mama made sure dad didn't do this, and this. He was very passive, like we've already talked about on these lives. So I want to tap that first and go, this is not a blame. Girls, number one, it's not an insult that you have daddy issues, because boys have daddy issues too. So don't take that on. We're going to get into that though. And then number two, recognize that until we make men, fathers, God, fatherhood, the center of solutions, we all gonna have daddy issues, because that's the truth. When I looked it up, daddy issues isn't even a psychological term. I want y'all to know that. Hold on, I want to say this right here. John says we want men to carry all the burden and accountability when there are more variables, mothers, faith, courts, judges, attorneys. There are a lot of more variables, bad decisions. Also, just that he wasn't an influence there in an actual physical presence or otherwise. Yeah, there are so many other reasons how people end up fatherless. So I need you guys to get out of this idea that fatherlessness just means someone didn't have a dad present, or they didn't know who he was. Dads are present in the home, but yet sometimes they become passive because they have an emasculating woman in the home. Go back and listen to those lives that we did on Healing Tuesday, maybe about a month or so ago. I want you to recognize that daddy issues is not a psychological term. It's just not. And I thought it was. I'm not going to lie to you. So all the stuff that I was looking at today was like, it's not a psychological term. I thought it was like a slang version of a psychological term. It's not. I want you to also recognize that daddy issues is not just for women. It is also for men. Let's go with girls and boys. Let's go there. I even posted a video earlier today where, how many of you remember Lauryn Hill? Raise your hand in the chat. Lauryn Hill, hip hop, came up in the Fugees, then went solo. Her daughter came on, did a 40-something minute video and talked about her daddy issues and how she has borderline personality disorders, and how she responds to men. You guys need to listen, because I don't think she really knows totally what she's saying, but the girl has insight into how she feels and she's aware. Go listen to that once we're done. But know that daddy issues, it's not even about a woman being promiscuous, because that's kind of the term that people use. Oh, she has sex with a lot of men because she got daddy issues. She's not independent because she got daddy issues. Yeah, she likes older men because she got daddy issues. Got you. Nydia's like, I remember, Nydia, that video is crazy. Like, she starts out by saying, she was like, I wrote it down. She said, here it is. Look, she said, I feel like a part of me stopped growing at the age my dad left. And then she said, she don't like therapy because therapy don't get to the point, straight to the point. Let me tell y'all therapists something. Y'all look, too many people are dealing with daddy issues, and you taking people around the roller coaster and around and up and down. They want to get to the daddy issues. Start there. I'm going to tell some of you, just start there. So let's go here, because daddy issues, I want you guys to know, it actually came from Freud. I didn't know that until reading it. I was like, wow. Did you guys know that most of the great philosophers had daddy issues? Did you guys know that? Great men and atheists, Freud, Nietzsche, Home, or Hume, depending on who you are and how you pronounce it. These men, Plato. Did you guys know that they had daddy issues? That's why they're these amazing philosophers, yet they're atheists. Because once again, we can go back to the fact that when God's fatherhood is not the central solution, then your fatherhood can't be the central solution, men. It can't be. But those men were fatherless. And I challenge sometimes when people want to, yep. But those Vark is saying, I knew that. Yeah, he knew that because we had talked about it. And we saw When you go and look at, what's that movie? Mark, what's the movie? The Case for Christ. You learn it there. And then I started doing my research. My husband will tell you, I will hear something, jot it down and start Googling and going through and reading and looking. And I learned that. And he said also mother issues. Those who have daddy issues have mommy issues too. It's the craziest thing that I learned on tour last year. Let's get into this. What does it even mean to have daddy issues? I want you to recognize that it goes into this place of, I didn't have a father present to teach me certain things. And so I respond to relationships in an insecure, avoidance, anxious behavior. That's what it gets down to. I want to read this for you. I want to read this to you. Many see this phrase as a way to minimize female attachment needs. Children need a dependable adult in their lives to form secure attachments. If this is informed, many people can form avoidant, anxious attachment styles. And another one is insecure. If a child doesn't have a father figure in their life consistently, this could lead to an insecure attachment style later in adulthood. That was something that I put in my phone. So how many of you, do you know what avoidant, anxious, or insecure attachment styles are? That's really what daddy issues are. I'm going to break this down really quickly for you so that you can, I want you to identify yours. Anxious, here, these are my notes. People with an anxious attachment style, they may be anxious, crave closeness, but feel insecure about their partner leaving them. That's anxious. Dismissive or avoidant. People with this type may have trouble trusting others for fear that they will be hurt. Fearful avoidant. People with this type may feel unsure about intimacy and tend to run away from experiencing difficult feelings. Are you anxious / preoccupied, dismissive / avoidant, or fearful avoidant? I want to read these to you one more time. How about I do this? Because how about I go here? I'm going to put these in your comments because I don't want you to miss the opportunity to identify who you are. And I don't want you to miss the opportunity, if you are a male, to recognize that you got daddy issues too. I can tell you that most of the time when I did my conferences or my tour, it was mostly women who showed up. Why is that? Because people really think that these issues are truly and solely a woman's issue. But how is that when we talk, and when we talk about fatherlessness, I think it's hilarious that we tend to think it's boys. We focus on boys. Oh, boys are fatherless. How is that? But then proclaim that women have daddy issues. And then it's baggage that they're carrying that makes them unworthy of a relationship. Having daddy issues doesn't make you unworthy of a relationship. Having daddy issues just means I have some stuff I need to heal from. I have some work that I need to do. Varric said, I've studied them and most wanted a relationship with mother, sexual, and I don't believe in God to justify that desire. Okay, what do you mean by that, Varric? I'm not really sure where you're going. I studied them and most wanted a relationship with mother. You're going to have to explain that one because I don't even know where you're going with that one. She said, I read this and I believe I'm anxious attachment style type of person. I'm sorry. Anxious attachment person. Okay. I might be a little bit of them all. John, we look, we kindred spirits over here. We wonder twins activate over here. Because when I read them, I was like, I've had a little bit of all of that at some point in time. I'm not ashamed to say it. And that becomes, you have to let your truth and owning your truth be the fuel that makes you better. Can you hear me? Owning your truth should be the fuel that makes you better. When you deny it and you go through all this stuff, sure, maybe it is baggage. But when you own it, you can't insult me by telling me I have daddy issues. That means to me that I am someone who has definitely gone through the fire. Nope, I didn't grow. Yes, I feel you, John. He said, you feel me? I feel you. Yes, I grew up without my father. Yes, I met my father at 31. Yes, it changed my life. But it doesn't mean that I still didn't have the stuff that needed to heal. Yep, his presence in the room healed some stuff that I didn't even know I had going on. Sure. Absolutely, no question. There's also this place where I had to then recognize what was still not quite right in me, and that I was still responding a certain way. Hey, Brian, how are you? And I was still responding a certain way in my relationships. And I want to say this because we're going to get into this because it's part of my notes. And I'm not just talking about romantic, opposite sex relationships. I'm talking about friendships, and I'm talking about business relationships. The way I would respond, you could tell I had daddy issues. I could tell I had daddy issues. Most people was like, she flaky, or she's this, or she's that. She ain't really about it. Whatever that was, they didn't realize that it was my daddy issues showing up. I realized that. I recognized that. I don't even know where you're going with that, Mark. That's a lot to breathe in. That's what you read? Okay. I don't even know where to go. I got you, Brian. I see you. I don't even know where Vark wants me to go with that one. So let's go here. I want to go back to attachment styles because he done threw me off with that conversation about Freud. Secure attachment styles are a result from having a caregiver who was responsive to your needs. And that means emotional as well. They were emotionally available. Insecure attachment styles, your caregiver was unresponsive to your needs, and they were emotionally unavailable. I want y'all to own that. Did you grow up with someone, mother or father, who was unresponsive and emotionally unavailable? Raise your hand if that's you. Yes, Vark, we will have to talk about this later because I need to know I don't know this. I don't know this story of Freud or Plato or Nietzsche or Hume. I don't know this story. But I know we were both doing research after watching The Case for Christ. So let's go here. I want to see hands raised. How many of you grew up in a situation where you had insecure attachment styles, where your parent was unresponsive and they didn't have any emotions? They were completely emotionally unavailable. I can raise my hand to that. I don't think my mother knew how to be emotionally available. I won't say she didn't respond to my needs. I just don't think she knew how to be emotionally there. I believe she knew how to be financially there. Got everything and anything I wanted. That was her way of parenting. That was her way of being the mom, you know? But I don't think she knew how to be emotionally present for us. And that's okay. Her mother didn't give it to her, and my great-grandmother didn't give it to my grandmother. So where was my family supposed to get that? Where were the women in my family supposed to get this emotional part of themselves? Because see, this goes into having to bury parts of yourself and then later needing to access them. I am truly working on healing that part of me that I shared with you guys recently that I had to bury in order to survive in the last few years in aspects of my life. And it has taken something out of me to dig this thing up and heal Tori and to bring it back to the surface and not be scared. Nydia said, yeah, that was how I was raised. Yeah. Unresponsive and emotionally unavailable. I don't think let me say this. Our parents, we have to breathe and have mercy and compassion on our parents. Number one, they didn't get it, so where are they going to get it from to give it to you? Yes, we should be healing. Yes, that's why I do Healing Tuesday, so that we can find it. So we can find it. But it takes a lot to dig this up. I'm telling you right now, I'm in the process right now. Was I always this way? No. But life happens. And so there's some things that require you to kind of, it's the same way with fathers. It's the scripture says that the spirit of Elijah will come and turn hearts of fathers back to their children. It's not that fathers don't love their children. They've had to turn their love down in order to survive without them until they are reunited with them again. Sometimes you gotta turn stuff down, and you gotta bury stuff and suppress stuff in order to cope and survive to the next season. I've had to do that. But in doing that, now we've got to dig some stuff up in order to be better, right? I'm owning it so I can be better. So let's look at this whole idea of daddy issues. Now, when I talk about daddy issues, a lot of times I've had, during my tours, I have a speaker, a therapist, and then I talk so that you can identify what your daddy issues are. We're way past that on Healing Tuesday. If you don't know you fatherless and you got daddy issues, I need you to roll the beautiful bean footage back, because I got to look and see. You guys, we're coming up on a year anniversary of doing Healing Tuesday. Maybe we passed it. I'm not sure, but I don't think so. I think it's maybe in another week or so. And we need to celebrate. We need to celebrate. I don't know how we're going to celebrate that, but that's an accomplishment. I have to remember celebrating the small wins. And I think that's a big win, that consistently every Tuesday, except a few Tuesdays during holidays and maybe when technology was jacked up or I was sick, we've been on here every Tuesday night doing this work. And that is a lot to celebrate. That is worth celebrating. So I gotta go back and look and see when the first Healing Tuesday started consistently, so we can celebrate on that day, or at least within that week. I want to go here and talk to you about this whole issue of intimacy and trust. When you come from a secure attachment style, not an insecure, a secure, when you have a loving family, you have a mother and a father who is responsive when they are emotionally available to you. You have to recognize one thing that's very clear that we don't see in a lot of fatherless issues. Their relationships tend to be long lasting, and they're built on real trust and true intimacy. When you are secure in how you attach to people, long lasting, trust, and true intimacy. I know that's what I want in my life. And I believe my husband we have that to a certain degree. But we have to fight because of how we grew up all the time in order to get to that place. The fight is working on what's in here. The fight is digging into yourself and questioning, and every day I'm asking God, heal my heart, fix my heart, show me my heart, show me what I still need to fix so that I can have long lasting, real trust and true intimacy in my marriage. I want to read this part to you that I wrote down. How do daddy issues show up? Woo-wee! Being anxious when when you aren't with a partner or with your partner. Yeah, oof, Nydia, child, didn't we learn that during we learned that during living with a mama's boy. We learned most relationships we have are survival mode. Yeah. Hey, Tina. Tina said, oh, yes, makes sense. I'm constantly questioning relationships. If they really care about me, I needed to hear this. Well, I'm glad you jumped on. So daddy issues, being anxious, this is how they show up. Being anxious when you aren't with your partner or a partner, when you're single. Needing lots of reassurance that the relationship is okay. I'm laughing because I see myself. Seeing any negativity as a sign that the relationship is doomed. How many times, anytime he's not happy, anytime she's not happy, you're like, oh my God, it's over. Once again, Daddy issues are not an insult to girls. And ladies, if men try to use it as an insult, you turn it back on them and let them know you are not insulted. This is just a part of your journey. This is not your destination. And they have daddy issues as well. All that sleeping around they doing and all that lack of communication and inability to commit. Same thing. Manifests the same way. Men are just as anxious. Men get nervous just as much as we do. We just show it differently. We show it all the time. And I'm saying this again because I said it earlier. This is where my notes. It isn't just about romantic relationships, your relationship with your caregivers, with your parents. Can we go here? You can have this same stuff happen in your relationships with your parents. Men, let me ask you, are you constantly doting on your mother like she's your wife? Are you now, I'm not telling you not to take care of your mother. That's not my position. But have you raised your mother to the level of wife or girlfriend or whatever that is? You got daddy issues. And you definitely got some mommy issues in there, because I've seen one too many videos lately or memes where it's like the children are standing there, the mother's standing there, and the wife's standing there. And it's like, well, who does he go to first? And people are genuinely confused. There's a video out where the mother is sitting in the front seat and the wife is like, get in the back seat. That's my car. And people are like, how dare she disrespect the elderly? That lady should be able to sit in the front seat. Number one, if it's my car, you getting in the back. Number one, we already got issues. The girl kept saying, we already got issues. And see, he is anxious about his relationship with his mother. He is anxious. And any negativity concerning that, he's afraid he's going to lose the relationship with his mother. So he wouldn't put his mother in the back seat. Let me tell you something. Mamas, get in the back seat. It is a sign. It is symbolic that you are taking the back seat in your son's life in order for him to be one with this woman. Get in the back seat. But once again, we were confused. You should have seen the comments. People weren't sure if she should get in the back seat. Oh, she's elderly. How dare she talk to his mother like that? His mother was talking to her reckless too. And it was clear that this was a normal occurrence. So when it says here, this daddy issues even play out in your relationships with your parents, with your caregivers, single mom households, your daddy issues are playing out. It also comes in close relationships, and that's also your friendships. I said this earlier. There were issues in my friendships and in my business relationships where I know now, looking back, I'm like, that is all about daddy issues. Feeling insecure, uncertain when you pull the trigger, having a hard time making decisions, being stuck, having an opportunity right in front of you, but yet stuck, yet can't move. So I want to have the honest to God truth conversation when it comes to daddy issues, and we're all dealing with these in different ways, as we said from the beginning. If you are watching this in replay or you're just jumping in, I want you to share it, and I want you to put replay in the box if you are watching this in replay. I want you to recognize a couple of things that we have said already. Daddy issues are not just a female thing. I do have issues, Chris. Daddy issues are not just for girls or women. Everyone has daddy issues. Can we say hallelujah because our parents got daddy issues too? Hey, Shelly, our daddies have issues. Our mothers and fathers have daddy issues as well. Can we go there? Can we have that honest conversation? That's a real thing. That's an honest thing. But because we see them as our mother and father, we don't recognize that. We can't communicate that. We can't understand that. We're like, well, they're our parents. But have you ever seen how they interact with their parents? Is it off? Is it odd? Did your parents grow up with their parents? A lot of times our parents did grow up with their parents, at least in my situation. My mother is not fatherless at all. But there were times when I think she was, based on how my grandparents' relationships in and out, here and there. They were married. They were married till it was death till they part. How do you say that? What was the vow I took? till death do you part. Thank you. I'm like, what was the vow? Till death do you part. My grandparents, that's how they were. Now, my father's side, I'm not totally sure what that is. Chris, yes, that's why I didn't take offense, because I know you got daddy issues too. What about girls who have been completely alienated from their father and family? They're going to have daddy issues because, Shelly, they don't know the circumstances. They just know their dad isn't present. That's where I know a lot of men have a hard time when they're being alienated from their children. They're like, but I'm right here fighting for you. They don't know that. And in that situation, Shelly, the mother is helping fuel the daddy issues by telling them things that are untrue. My dad's relationship with my grandmother, yeah, daddy issues. So we have to recognize that our parents had them. And so how were they going to parent us any better? I think my mother did a better job than her parents. And sometimes we have to recognize it just gets better and by, look, minuscule amounts. Maybe my mother got better leaps and bounds, because my brother and I are pretty sound people. We got some emotional stuff that we have to work on. And I will tell you, I own mine. I own mine very clearly. And when it shows up, got to get rid of it, got to get healed. But it's not easy to heal. It's not easy to heal these things, especially when they're generational. So just know that daddy issues are not a female issue. They are everyone's issue. Male, female, mother, father, grandmother, grandfather, aunt, uncle. We all got it. So never let someone try to diminish who you are, ladies, by telling you you've got daddy issues. Let's go here, because this is something I jotted down. It doesn't matter what sex and gender you were assigned at birth. See, we're getting into, or how you identify. This is something new, but I wanted to read that. Your relationship with your caregiver will always have some influence on the way you approach and deal with your adult relationships. If you have watched your parents go through all of these challenges and changes and all this stuff, you learn the patterns from them. You learned it from them. Absolutely learned it from them. Chris says, I've got issues with my own personal fatherhood. I feel like I'm not doing enough right now, and it's causing me anxiety, even though I know it's not my fault right now. That's because, Chris, it's easy for us we talked about this, and we talked about it on here. When people say things about us, somehow we morph into who they say we are, although we know it's an absolute lie. It is this anxiety. It is this weight we carry, where we come into agreement with the lie, and then the lie actually manifests in who we are. John said it's everyone's. Kimberly says, my dad alienated me from my mom. He made her out to be the bad guy he turned out to be. When I saw the truth, I couldn't have a relationship with him, even though I tried. He blew up and told me to get out of his life many times when I tried to express my heart. My mom is gone now, and I have not talked to my dad for many years. Healing is not easy. Kimberly, I said it a minute ago. There are places that we know we need to heal. And when they come up, as I'm walking through this, this is not easy. Healing is messy. And it also, for me, I'm going to go back to Kimberly in a moment. For me, it shows me where I let myself down. And when Kimberly's like, my dad pushed me away. My dad told me, and I don't even have my mom. That's what she's saying. I don't even have a parent to go to because my mother is gone now. And clearly you must have had either a short window or no window with her. And I've not talked to my dad in years. So now you're struggling through this journey. So I do understand, and my prayers are with you. And look, go to beyondfatherless.com. I am helping. I'm coaching starts. The next session of coaching starts August 24th. I have some people who have just recently signed up. It's a small group right now, and that can feel like more one-on-one counseling or coaching. So go to beyondfatherless.com and sign up for a free assessment, and let's see how I may help you. I see you, John. He said, I see you. I wonder what my kids think right now. You know what, Chris? That's part of your prayer and your meditation, my love. I know that drives men crazy. I know it has to. not sure what your children think about you, or then when you are sure what they think about you, it's a lie because someone told it. And John says, Kimberly, your dad was just afraid, and I'm sorry you went through that. Yeah, that's my assumption, but she said, he was a bad guy and he turned out to be. I've seen it where men have been through something like this before, and what they do is they jump the gun and they alienate the person that they think is going to alienate them. I'm not making an excuse for men or women who do it. I think women do the same thing. I have a gentleman who's calling me right now, and I'm just coaching him through it and referring him to an attorney because I'm not taking clients. I did see that, but I'm talking to your brother, so I'm not really sure. I can't do all of the above, Shelly. So just know, I know you are, but I'm talking to your brother, so I can't do everybody at the same time. So not off subject. I get it. And you got to give me a moment as we're getting back to normal, I think, as far as not taking cases, but working with clients now that courts are open and doing Zoom. So I want to be clear on that. Let me see. You can't make yourself crazy. Ultimately, they will learn the truth. We all learn the truth. And now that right there, sit that right there, Chris. You cannot make yourself crazy. Ultimately, they will learn the truth. Ultimately, they are going to learn the truth. Period. Don't drive yourself crazy. I think fear shows up as anger and other things. Absolutely, because that's the one you guys know to go to. Fear is the opposite of love. And in my experiences, has been a great downfall in life, fear. Men know anger as their emotion. It's the easiest one for you guys to access. So women, when we see anger, we need to ask them, what are you afraid of? We need to ask them, what's going on? Because fear is just the emotion they can access. And it doesn't mean, once again, that they don't have daddy issues, because they do. Their daddy issues come out. Let's go here. So when you say a woman has daddy issues and you try to throw her under the bus because she's promiscuous, what makes you any different when you're promiscuous? There isn't a difference. You're promiscuous, you're highly sexual, but lack intimacy. Just like the women you throw under the bus and say she's got daddy issues. That's the issue. Oh, Tina said, I used to be so angry. Tina, women show anger as well. I say angry girls turn into raging women. The reason I say that is because when you were raised in a single parent home, when you're raised without your father, or maybe your father's in the home, but he's emasculated and your mother has taught you a lot of masculine energy, you then tap into anger very quickly coming from single parent homes. Anger is your go-to as well, because you have a lot of testosterone. You have a lot of masculine traits and masculine energy. And I tell you, go back and listen to Living with the Mama's Boy and the Emasculating Woman, because those are powerful. Those who are listening who didn't hear those are powerful videos that will really help you peg where you are. What kind of energy are you putting out into these relationships? How do you show up? How do people experience you? I'm looking at my notes. I'm sorry. So we got a few more minutes. I want to talk about this. How does having daddy issues affect your choice in partners? I'm going to tell you guys, we are going into a series where we're going to be talking about sex. I have some friends who are sex therapists, and I'm going to bring them on here. It's time that I can't have the conversation with y'all properly, but I want a therapist to have the conversation with you properly. Because sex is not supposed to be something that you do without intimacy. It's just not. And I think some of y'all think y'all done had mind-blowing sex, but you ain't. And I said ain't. So we're going to bring some of my friends who are sex therapists. We're going to bring them on. And they're going to help talk to us about sex and how to be intimate and how to go there. Because I'm telling you, a lot of us who are fatherless, you ain't experienced that yet. Mm-mm. Not at all. And I need you to get to a place where you're intimate and you blow the mind of the person that you now step into a relationship with. Because as I'm about to talk about how this affects your choice and how daddy issues affect the choice that you make in partners, once you choose that partner, you want to be intimate, vulnerable, and courageous with them. You don't want to be insecure and panicked and anxious and avoidance. You don't want to be any of that. Text me when that one happens. No, it's going to be a series, Chris. It's a series. Some of us are having sex for relief from our troubles and our pain. It's not what that's supposed to be used for. Yes, it's a stress reliever, but I'm giving y'all a little promo to what's coming next. Hopefully that will start next week. I got to get everybody organized. It is believed that people will gravitate. This is a quote that I pulled. People will gravitate towards the type of relationships they've had in the past, even if it was a troubled one. You still go to the same stuff. If your relationship with your caregiver was traumatic or disappointing one, you may more than likely choose a partner who will disappoint you in the very same way. How many times do we have to say the same thing? We are still choosing people like our parents, knowing that our parents were dysfunctional, toxic, and the environment that we were raised in was traumatic. But we still look for that same thing. I heard a pastor say this last weekend. He was talking about not being offended. And he was saying how when he got married, the way he showed up, it was like, his wife was like, what in the world? Whoa. It was drama filled and it was traumatic and it was dysfunctional. How many of you know he had no clue? The reason he had no clue is because it was actually what he was used to. Some of you have no clue that you drama filled, that when you show up, trauma shows up, that when you show up, dysfunction shows up. You have no idea. And the people who are in your life are looking at you like, hey, whoa. And you're like, what? What's wrong? What? And then when they have an issue, oh, you don't like, there's something about me. See, you got all that going on in your neck and all that in your head. How about maybe they can just help you realize this isn't normal. What you're presenting isn't normal. Where does this come from? That's what partners are designed to do. They're designed to point out our blind spots. And he said, I read a note in a secret book in which someone said, I masturbate to feel good. I have sex to feel love. Ooh, it was mind-blowing. That is mind-blowing. I masturbate to feel good and I have sex to feel love. And most people don't even feel any of that, right? When they have sex. And they may for a moment, but they don't forever. They don't for a long period of time. That's why y'all promiscuous. Because you out here, not y'all specifically, but you out here needing to feel love. Why does that happen? I always gravitate towards the same type of partners because it's a cycle. Kimberly said, oi. Is that oy vey, Kimberly? It's almost like a predisposition where we go against what our soul is telling us. Absolutely. They aren't in alignment. But we choose them always and dismiss what our soul says. Absolutely. Your little boy and little girl says, run. And you run towards them, not away from them. It's an unconscious thing. See, we talked about this. This is that relationship attraction deprivation, where you're trying to heal the broken relationship with your parent through the partner, through the new partner. They said, let me see. For some, it's because there was a norm growing up. So this is the type of relationship they think they should have. That's the norm. For others, having a partner that's similar to the parent is an unconscious hope to get that parent's love. Come on. That's a different way of saying it. I'm going to repeat that one. I need to snap on that. For others, having a partner that's similar to our upbringing, to the parent, the dysfunctional, traumatic, generational curse carrying parent, is an unconscious hope to get that parent's love. Yes, parallel processing. Come on. Yes. If you haven't dealt with these issues, they can still affect your relationship with an amazing, with an awesome partner. They can still impact you. When you are insecure attachment style, you know what you do? You push a partner away. You push the partner away that you were supposed to have anyway. It's a great partner. You will push them away. I want to go here. How might daddy issues impact or affect your sexual identity and behavior? Now, we talked about fatherlessness and gender identity, and we talked about fatherlessness and gender confusion and role reversal. Poor relationship with a caregiver can definitely affect your sexual behavior, but evidence on if and how it affects your personal sexual identity, people aren't sure about. I can tell you that what we learned and what we talked about concerning this topic when we were doing fatherlessness and gender identity and gender confusion, people may be mixed on the conversation, but I will say the studies, but I don't think the conversation is mixed. I don't. We did it, for 4 weeks, and even had a friend come on and he talked about how he knew his partner and his choices in some ways to even be gay had to do with his father not being present. So maybe that's just one case study. I don't believe that. I've read a few other things to deal with that. But I'm going to tell you, some of us, once again, we're in a same-sex relationship and we just don't know it because both of us are masculine energy or both of us are feminine energy. And that's why we come into so many different conflicts. This was crazy to me. I want to read this really quickly because I know we've been on here. We got 3 minutes left and I don't want to stay on. This is where self-inquiry and spirituality comes in. We don't know enough about ourselves. This is why our sex life is jacked up. This is why our relationships are jacked up. This is because once we start to get to know ourselves and identify who we are and own it, we run from it, we hide it, we suppress it. We don't want anybody to know. You know why? Because supposedly having daddy issues is an insult. It is a negative. Don't let people do that to you. Everyone is impacted by this. If they don't think they have daddy issues, they are lying to you. If they are trying to make you feel some kind of way about your daddy issues, turn that on them. How was your relationship with your dad? Ask them questions. Oh, it was fantastic. What made it fantastic? Right? Oh, my dad was around, he was in and out though, but I still think we have a good relationship now. What makes it a good relationship now? Since you're trying to harp on mine, what makes yours such a good relationship now? And if it's good, it's good. But I want you to make people dig into themselves when they're trying to dig into you. That's what I want you to do. Because I'm sorry, I don't play them games when it comes to, when I read that meme, I was just like, how is that real? That this is an insult towards women? But that's where it is. Thinking and wanting to call a partner daddy in bed, y'all. Is that a sign of daddy issues? Hey, Jarius, where have you been? Because we're touching on this sexual thing just a little bit. When you call or somebody want to be called daddy, is that daddy issues that they have? Is that what that is? When you start to do role play, Jerry said, no, that's just kinky. See, when you start to do role play, is that a sign of daddy issues? Because this becomes some of the conversation that I've read all day, kind of getting into where I was going to go with this, that people thought that was a part of people showing signs of daddy issues. Jerry said, nah, that's just kinky. That's just keeping some excitement in the bedroom when you're married, right? Stop letting people create stereotypes, because most of the time there's aspects of the stereotype that's real, but the rest of it is just lofty and just all made up. So before we get off of here, I want to hone in on a couple of things that I said tonight, because some of the stuff we deviated from, because I'm luring y'all into this next couple of sessions that we have concerning um, sexuality and sexual identity, and really getting into this intimacy part. We're missing out, y'all. I feel like that's more speculative and a reach, but maybe. No, I get what you're saying. I think it is too. I'm like, I don't know if calling somebody daddy means I have daddy issues. Yeah, see, Natalie said, yeah, see, we're all in agreement. I'm like, I don't, and Jarius was like, nah. But I read that in 3 different blogs today. That people assume that when a woman wants to call, or a man wants her to call him daddy, she's got daddy issues. Yes, Natalie said, nah, role play is just keeping it new and interesting. Right. So we're going to talk about this new and interesting role playing in the next few sessions as we dig into intimacy. But I want to dig into really quickly, I want to go over the things that we talked about. Number 1, daddy issues are not just a girl's issue or a woman's issue. No, number 1 is daddy issues is not an insult. It's not an insult. Number 2, daddy issues is not just for girls or women. It is for boys and men as well. That's the truth. That's number 2. Number 3, what type of relationship or what type of, how do I describe this? What was I calling it? Attachment role or type are you? Are you those that I put in the box? Because I put them in there for you because I want you to go. Are you anxious and preoccupied? Are you dismissive and avoidant? Are you fearful and avoidant? Or are you insecure? Or do you have secure attachment style? There are 4 there. I want you to recognize who you are, because as we get into this, you're going to need to know who you are. As we start going into this next series and sessions, I'm sorry, but y'all pulled something out of me the last session that I did. Those of you who missed it, we were talking about from the inside out, and they were like, let's talk about sex. We want to get into the sex piece. And I was like, oh, now I'm teasing y'all because I'm ready to go there because she's been working on it. Let me see. What? So would you call men that call their women, what would you call men that call their women mama? I'm not really sure. It depends. I've said mama, not mama. The 2 are different. Oh, now that's true. Jerry said, I've said mama and not mama. Yeah, those are 2 different mamas. One's a hot mama, one's a spicy. Yeah, and one's your mommy. There's a difference. My husband was going into, I'm not sure what Freud was up to because Mark was getting into some other stuff. But what attachment style or type are you? Dig into that. Go back and listen to that and pinpoint yourself. And then how does your daddy issue show up in your relationships? And I want you to work on that this week. I want you to recognize it and then work on it. Listen to your body. Listen to when you're interacting with the opposite sex. And go back and listen to that video that we posted earlier from Selah, Lauryn Hill's daughter. When I tell you, that thing is crazy. Where she's saying, I feel like a part of me stopped growing at the age my dad left. But she also talks about how her interaction with men makes her twitch and tinge, and she does all these crazy things. And go watch it. She's like 20-something. She's 20-something years old. Yeah. Then he said, that's the one I meant. Yeah. Mama, M-A-M-A. Yeah. Exactly. So you guys, I am going to get off of here. I normally have a nap, but I have not had a nap today. Today has been very busy. Today has been fun. I am Nydia. You'd be so proud of me. I got a personal trainer, girl. And he is kicking my butt. Did you see that boxing ring I posted on Instagram earlier today? He is kicking my butt, but it feels so good. It feels so good. And then eating crazy, different healthy things that I normally would eat. But I didn't get a nap today, and I'm exhausted. So you guys have an amazing night. I pray that this Healing Tuesday really gave you an understanding of daddy issues. Also, join our group, I've Got Daddy Issues. We are launching these things one by one. We just fully opened up the men's room. I have 3 therapists in there and a coach for the men. They're all men. And ladies, the ladies' room is just for you as well. I've Got Daddy Issues is for men and women. Join I've Got Daddy Issues page or a group. That way, once you're in the group, there's some special work that we do. Okay? There's some special work that we do in those groups. And I haven't launched everything. I'm working on it. Trust me. If you saw my legal pad sitting here, I've got a lot that I'm working on to make everything virtual and move differently. But go and get into those groups. Those of you who are questioning, do I have daddy issues? What do I need to do? Do I need to heal further? Go to beyondfatherless.com, register or schedule for a free assessment. We go through the process. We have a conversation about the things that you need to work on. And I videotape it, I record it so that we can hear what it is you actually need to work on. Just know that. I don't videotape it. I record it from Zoom or Teams. And let's get this work done so that we can have better relationships, so that as we get into this sex talk, y'all can be intimate and open, and y'all can have the kind of relationships that you've been dreaming about all of your life, the kind of relationships that you promised your child that you would have once you became an adult. So I am Dr. Tori J. I am grateful that I was able to help connect you just a few of your dots to your pain concerning your fatherless journey tonight during Healing Tuesday. And we will see you guys next Tuesday for Healing Tuesday. And then there's some other things going on this week. I will be traveling to Dallas, so keep me in prayer. I will be ministering daddy issues. I have a whole workshop from 9 to 2 on Saturday. So keep me prayed up, because I don't want to go to Texas, because Texas got an outbreak. But trust me when I say I got my mask on. Jarius, are you in Dallas or are you in Houston? I don't know. I don't know that. Because if you're in Dallas, I need to see you at a distance.